Welcome, Commander, to Steel Talons Rule. This is our first video where we go over a very niche, interesting, Nod vanilla build called the Reckoner Rush. Now, this is Steel Talons Rule, of course, but it is very difficult to find any sort of Steel Talon strategy online, and I myself am not at all an expert player. But that being said, there will be a Steel Talons Titan plus MRT strategy video that will be coming soon. This is a hub for every single video that I can put out for you guys as far as builds and strategies that are interesting or unique go, and are also relatively simple, because I myself, being a Steel Talons player, am not too great. But this is against hard AI, and this build is all about putting out a single Reckoner with 2 Black Hand squads, getting them to your opponent's base as fast as possible, burning it all down, and then finishing them off with some stings from as many Scorpion tanks as possible. So we first will build a War Factory as well as a Hand of Nod, and of course put out an operations center as you do, being Nod, for that free, well, not free, but very easily acquired Black Hand squad. Since we are going all in, we do not need our MCV any longer for when we fight for Kane. We must have no fear. So we take out our Reckoner and we fill it with our Black Hand squads, and we bring it to our enemy base. Then going ahead and building as many Scorpion tanks as our budget can allow. We are going to be fighting off of 1 refinery, so it is important to sell your V to get that extra income, as well as to get that free Saboteur to hack his way into the local TIB spike on the map. If you are fighting on a larger map, or a map that does not have TIB spikes, or where there are few and far between, you might not have access to quite the enormous army of Scorpion tanks that are desired for this sort of rush. So what is most important is, and as we can see here, the War Factory is the #1 priority to destroy. So the first thing that you're going to look for when bringing your Reckoner squad into your enemy base is to find that War Factory, since it is specifically the War Factory that is going to be able to counter your Reckoner very quickly. But as we saw, the War Factory was either put up after my Reckoner went down, or was a little too far away for my Black Hand squad's range. And that is something you're going to need to keep in mind, is that the Black Hand's range is not too far. So you're going to need to find a tight, snug squeeze behind enemy lines to destroy as many structures as possible. And of course, while this is happening, we are building an unlimited supply of Scorpion tanks, sending them all to our enemy's base. I like sending them in squads of 6 or 7, waiting until I get around 6 to bring those little squads of stinging boys over to the enemy. And in addition to that, what you need to do while this is happening, while the spoils of your enemy are melting and falling to cinders, is to just use as much of your economy as possible to build your Scorpion tank squad. So just 1 refinery, a single harvester, and a TIB spike to put that engineer in, and you're going to be getting a slow but steady supply of credits to create some very cheap but very effective tanks that are quite terrifying in swarms, as we can see now. Something that I would suggest you do not do is to never, ever make this build with the Black Hand sub-faction. If you do so, your harvesters will not be stealthed, as the Black Hand sub-faction has done away with stealth completely. So Vanilla Nod is the faction you are indeed going to be going with. A alternative strategy to the Reckoner Rush is one that is not shown here, and that I probably will not be showing for need to not have repetition, is having 2 Reckoners, each with a single Black Hand squad and a single Saboteur, so that you can also, in addition to burning alive any structures in the Reckoner's vicinity, deploy your Saboteurs so that you may take control of enemy refineries for yourself, and in doing so, you'd be able to push out much more Scorpion tanks, and your opponent will have no resources to speak of to deal with the oncoming threat. That is the Reckoner Rush. As you can see right now, it is just a means of cleaning up the garbage, burying it, leaving it to rot in a pile. And other than that, even though this is coming from a die-hard member of Steel Talons, this is a victory for Nod, and a victory for Kane. So if you would like to return once more to see further strategies by myself on Steel Talons Rule, go ahead and come back, and next time I might surprise you with another very odd rush, a Vagilla DI rush. That could be very interesting indeed.